The Red Pony by John Steinbeck was published in installments between 1933 and 1936, released as a novella in 1937, and later included in the 1945 short story collection The Long Valley. Steinbeck drew inspiration from his life in California's Salinas Valley. The four interconnected stories in The Red Pony are widely regarded as classics of American literature and serve as examples of the Bildungsroman, or coming-of-age genre. Steinbeck also adapted the novella into a screenplay for the 1949 film version, and a made-for-TV movie aired in 1973. The stories explore themes such as the relationships between men and boys, the connection between people and the land, and Jody's personal growth. In the first story, The Gift, Steinbeck introduces the Tiflin family, who live on a ranch in California's Salinas Valley. The family includes Carl and Ruth Tiflin, their 10-year-old son Jody, and their ranch hand, Billy Buck. Jody receives a red pony from his father and names it Gabilan, after the nearby mountains. Proud of his new pony, Jody shows it to his school friends. He diligently cares for the animal, grooming and feeding it. Billy teaches Jody how to use a halter, bridle, and saddle. When the weather turns cold and rainy in autumn, a brief sunny day prompts Jody and Billy to leave Gabilan outside. But the rain returns unexpectedly, and Gabilan gets soaked. Jody tries to dry him after school, and Billy helps recover the pony that evening. The next day, Gabilan begins coughing, and Billy diagnoses him with a cold. As the illness worsens into strangles, Billy teaches Jody how to steam the pony's nose and eventually lances a swelling under its jaw. Frustrated and upset, Jody throws dirt at the family dog, Doubletree Mutt, injuring its paw. He insists on staying with Gabilan overnight. During the night, the wind blows open the barn door, and Gabilan escapes. Jody quietly returns him to the barn without telling anyone. The following morning, Billy instructs Jody on how to clean the wound. That night, Jody again sleeps beside the pony, but once more, the sick animal escapes. The next day, Jody finds Gabilan outside, dying, surrounded by buzzards. He kills one of them in anger, but cannot save the pony. In the second story, The Great Mountains, Jody continues mistreating the dog and kills a bird with his slingshot. He becomes curious about the mysterious mountains to the west, a desolate and uninhabited area. One day, an old man named Gitano arrives, claiming he was born in the crumbling adobe house on the ranch and wants to retire there. Carl refuses, offering him only dinner and a bed for the night. Jody speaks with Gitano and asks about the mountains, which Gitano dimly recalls. During dinner, Carl cruelly compares Gitano to the elderly horse Easter, saying both should be put down. Billy, however, defends them. Gitano claims to have family in Monterey, but Carl insists he should be with them instead. That night, Jody visits Gitano and sees a mysterious rapier among his belongings. The next morning, Gitano is gone. He has taken Easter and ridden into the mountains with his sword. The third story, The Promise, begins with Jody collecting frogs and insects in his lunchbox and leaving it in the kitchen. Carl offers to have their mare, Nellie, bred so Jody can raise a colt. Jody takes Nellie to a neighboring ranch, where a stallion named Sundog mates with her. Jody becomes anxious, waiting for her to show signs of pregnancy. He hopes for a black colt like Sundog. Billy, still feeling guilty over Gabilan's death, vows to deliver the foal himself. As time passes, Jody grows increasingly impatient. One winter night, after a troubling dream, he checks on Nellie and finds Billy already in the barn. Carl later reassures Jody that Billy should not be blamed for what happened to Gabilan. Early the next morning, Nellie goes into labor. Billy wakes Jody, but complications arise. To save the colt and fulfill his promise, Billy kills Nellie during the delivery. In the final story, The Leader of the People, Jody's maternal grandfather comes to visit. Carl resents him for constantly repeating tales of westward migration, but Ruth urges Carl to be patient. Upon arrival, grandfather bonds with Jody over a plan to kill mice in an old haystack. Billy speaks fondly of his father, Muletail Buck, who once traveled with grandfather. At dinner, grandfather begins one of his familiar stories, but Carl rudely interrupts him. Afterward, Carl tries again to silence grandfather by the fire, but Ruth's disapproving look makes him relent. Jody enjoys hearing the tale. The next morning, Jody prepares to hunt mice, but overhears Carl complaining about grandfather's storytelling. The old man enters and, hurt by Carl's words, expresses regret about living in the past. Jody puts aside the mouse hunt and chooses to spend time with grandfather instead. The old man reflects on how the Pacific Ocean marked the end of his journey west and that he must stop dwelling on the past. Jody offers to make lemonade for him, showing compassion and maturity. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy this video, leave a like and subscribe.